Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. In this video we're going to be talking about a couple of the resources on my website. So here's the home page. It's just socialbenefitadvisors.com. So in the drop down here, or you could just click the resource tab, I have developed these different templates for, depending on your need. One is a visitor log, so this was mainly designed for if you're going into the office, but can be used if you're calling Social Security as well. And the other is for wage reporting. So we'll just jump into the visitor log here. So you just click this and it pops right up, and you could save it or you could turn it into a PDF, whatever you want to do. When I go into an office, I have like 5 or 6 of these in my folder for any given, I might be there for multiple clients, but this is an extremely useful tool. So it's just a kind of a templated document. There's some helpful pointers here, but it allows you, it's kind of like reminders basically to write down the date, your ticket number, what window you went to, what was the name of the person you spoke to, and their position, which that is very critical, depending on kind of why the reason is that you're going in there, which is in the next one. So reasons for your visit, make sure to document, make sure that you tell whoever it is that you're speaking to document while you're there, what you're there for in the visitor intake system. The abbreviation for that is called VIPR, V-I-P-R, and it stands for Visitor Intake. I can't remember the rest of it. But that's their current intake system. It's been that system for a number of years. I want to say somewhere around 10. So you just want to make sure that, kind of whatever you're going in there for, that you write it down. If you have any questions for them, I can't stress this one enough either too. There's so many times and so many occasions where I've talked to somebody and they've said something along the lines of, I had a question for you, but I forgot, or I should have wrote it down, or, whatever it might have been. So this is another helpful way to do that. So, if you have an appointment coming up, open this up or print it out and then write your questions down in this box so that you don't forget in the moment. And then again, if you're going into the office, was an appointment made, or if you're on the phone, was an appointment made? Was it in person or over the phone? I believe at this point the overwhelming majority of appointments are still phone based, and is the date, time, and whatever proofs that you might need for your appointment. So whether it's a marriage certificate, a divorce decree, maybe you receive a pension from the state or something like that wasn't covered under Social Security, or maybe you have a discrepancy in your date of birth or your citizenship, something like that. You could write down the proofs that you need to either turn in or mail in, whatever it might be. And then down here, if an appointment was made, review the following. You really want to ensure that that your phone number is listed correctly. So when you tell Social Security what your phone number is and your address, I would have them read it back to you to make sure that everything is correct. I cannot tell you how many times somebody has listed it. Maybe it was just a typo. Maybe their finger slipped and hit a different key. Maybe I've seen numbers that are typed totally incorrect. So you always want to make sure that they have an accurate phone number for you, and whenever possible, list an alternate number. So whether that's your spouse, a friend, a neighbor, or something like that. And then if you have, sometimes people with their phone carriers, they'll have like a spam calling app on their phone. Make sure that that's turned off, because depending on your phone carrier, when Social Security calls you, because it's an outbound line a lot of the times, it will block the call. Meaning, like if they called and you didn't pick up because you wasn't sure if it was them or not, and then when you try and call back, it says this number is not in service or something like that, it's because it's an outgoing line only. Ensure the correct spelling of your name and address. And then if filing for disability and retirement benefits on the same day, make sure that the disability time slot is used and not the retirement time slot. The disability time slot is, I want to say, like an hour to an hour and a half, where the retirement time slot is like a half hour, 45 minutes. And it's because it's a much different interview. A disability interview is much more involved, especially if there's any remote work, after you're alleging that you became disabled, that work has to be evaluated. So that means that there's just going to be more questions and more time that's needed. So if you're filing for retirement and disability benefits at the same time, make sure that the disability slot is used for your appointment and not the retirement slot. Otherwise, they might just tell you you have to schedule your disability appointment for another day and just be counterproductive. If filing as a survivor, ensure the appointment is listed under the deceased's Social Security number and not your own or maybe a child's number. Again, this is another thing on more than one occasion that I can recall where the person who is still living and wants to apply for benefits, their information is recorded rather than the deceased person. And that it makes it difficult sometimes, depending on the situation, to kind of locate okay, whose benefits what record is being utilized for these claims, if they're trying to do their homework before they call you, so it's a smoother, appointment and things like that. It really does make a difference in the quality of your interaction with the government. I can't stress that enough. And it's always recommended to provide proofs in person whenever possible. So at any time, even if it's like a minor inconvenience to go into the office and hand somebody your proofs so they can make a copy of them, I would always err on the side of doing that rather than mailing it. When you mail your originals, you're really taking a gamble on, especially if you're not using tracking information and you're just using standard mail. Never, ever, ever just use regular mail. You want to make sure that tracking information is used so that you know when your proofs have arrived to the Social Security office, or if they haven't, then you can file a claim to get those documents paid for by whatever carrier you used. But a big thing, aside from the mail carrier itself, when you mail documents into the Social Security office, they use a machine at every single office that basically rips open the envelope that your mail is in. And I have seen on a number of occasions where it will slice, because it's just slicing right through an envelope, so the person can open it real quick, see what's in there, and then kind of keep it moving. But I have seen where it will catch like a marriage certificate or a divorce decree or some sort of significant document. And if that document holds sentimental value to you, like an original marriage certificate might, right? So maybe your appointment is, you're a widow whose spouse of 60 years just passed away, and you really love the idea of maintaining your marriage certificate, maybe giving it, handing it down to your family members. Well, there is a possibility that if you mail that into the Social Security office, that it's going to get sliced in half. So you may not want to do that. So that's essentially what I mean by making sure that whenever possible that you go in person to turn in those documents. And not only that, you don't have to wait for them to mail it back, and then because Social Security is not going to use tracking information when they mail it back. They are going to use standard mail, and once they mail it, that's it, it's gone. So I hope that's able to help somebody. The second here is the wage reporting log. So again, just click on this link. This is for, so whether you're on SSDI or SSI benefits, if you have any work after your benefits start, you are obligated to report that work. So this is an easy little template that you can keep. This is for yourself, where you can record your pay information so you can keep track of it for yourself. But as well as when you turn it into Social Security. So here's the pay period start date, the pay period end date, when you actually got paid, what the payment amount was, the date that you provided to the SSA, how you provided it to the SSA, and did you get a receipt from them. So just know what is supposed to happen when you turn in your pay stubs, whether it's one stub or 10 stubs at once. You're supposed to get a receipt that articulates exactly what you turned in. And you can even, a lot of the times what they'll do, because it's quick, is they'll just make a date stamp and then they'll copy all your pay stubs and give you a copy with the date stamp on it. And that does work as, maintaining proof that you turned in your stubs. But what they're really supposed to do is go into a program called eWork, and they're supposed to kind of it looks very much like this. I copied this template right from eWork. So this is exactly what it looks like. And then there'll be a little option over here for them that basically says print receipt. And then you select, however many were turned in, and it will print a receipt with all of this information on here for each pay stub that you turned in. And then down here is a little note. It is critical to report wages on a monthly basis to the Social Security Administration while on SSDI. Also SSI, but SSDI is kind of my specialty. And then failure to do so could result in suspension or termination of benefits and overpayment. So I can't stress it enough. If you're receiving either SSDI or SSI benefits and you're working, you want to turn in your stubs on a monthly basis. Some people will send them in on a weekly basis. You don't really need to do that, and it's almost counterproductive to, depending on how frequently you get paid. And no matter what, Social Security they're not going to make a determination off of, 1 week of, as an example, we're on the 9th right now, so they're not going to make any decisions on the 9th, realistically. They'll probably wait till later in the month so they know that they have more pay stubs kind of acquired from you so they can have a more accurate determination on whether you're above or below the limits. I hope the video was able to help and that these templates were able to help too. Again, you can find them at socialbenefitadvisors.com. They are free to use, so have at it. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a like. If you had a question down below, please leave a comment and I'll reply as soon as possible. And consider subscribing to the channel and turning on your bell notifications so that you're always notified whenever I'm posting new content. Thank you so much for watching and have a fantastic day.